This is the Conscious Hour, and we're in deep trouble. There's two reasons why. The chief negotiators, there's three of them. There's JD Vance, okay, he's vice president, absolutely pro-Zionist, okay? Then there's Steve Witkoff, real estate developer. Jared Kushner, real estate developer. Jared Kushner was in Gaza April of 2024, the 26th of April, promoting waterfront real estate. So listen to this. We are compromised because Netanyahu controls them, and they don't care if Mr. Trump was to die in office because they got JD Vance, and JD Vance is in it for the money. Listen to what's happening, folks. We're on the edge of Armageddon.
Does want to see some sort of successful ceasefire. In other words, how united are people inside the decision making? You have quite a bit of a view into that, into your view that the war is virtually certain to restart.
Well, no one here wants war. We did not start the war which Saddam Hussein, at the best of with Western encouragement, launched against us. I was a volunteer in that war to defend the country. We did not launch last year's war. We did not launch this, the Ramadan war, the 40-day war. And we did not escalate. Every time the United States and the Israeli regime escalated, we responded in kind. So we do not want war now. But what we're seeing is the United States building up its forces. We see that the Israeli regime is slaughtering people in Lebanon against the ceasefire agreement, and the Pakistani leaders have insisted that the United States accepted Lebanon as a part of the ceasefire, and Trump's denying it is just dishonesty. And if the Pakistanis are dishonest, then why is Trump still working through Pakistan? So it's clear that that was a part of the ceasefire. Netanyahu wants more war. He wants the global economy. He doesn't care about the global economy. He doesn't care what happens in India or Indonesia or anywhere else. Their economies can crash as far as he's concerned. He wants more war. So he destroyed the ceasefire agreement. So no move was taken by Iran to facilitate more ships leaving the Strait of Hormuz. And in Islamabad, the U.S. was not serious. And Vance it was clear that he did not have authority. So no one wants war, but we are seeing what's happening before our eyes, and that's why we're preparing. And that's why if war happens, Iran is going to have to retaliate. Those Arab family regimes in the Persian Gulf, they are complicit. And so Iran will strike back. And we are approaching summer, and it is going to get very hot in the next few weeks in the Persian Gulf. And if there's war, that will basically mean that these regimes will collapse because no one will be able to stay there under those circumstances. And I think that will really be the tipping point where the global economy collapses in a way that will be much worse than 1929, in my opinion. And of course, the Red Sea will be shut down as well. It will be catastrophic for the world. I don't want this. No one here wants this. But Netanyahu is hell-bent on moving in that direction, and he's the president of the United States.
Let me put C2 up on the screen. This is my last question for you. Sagar may have more, but there was a Pakistani delegation that came to Tehran hoping to push for more U.S.-Iran talks. Do you think there is a possibility there will be renewed in-person talks in Islamabad, very likely, before the ceasefire concludes?
I don't know the details. I'm not in government. I've never been in government. When I went to Islamabad, I was not paid or anything. I just went there as a volunteer, just like on previous occasions, and I give my opinions. I don't know what is going to happen. I assume that the discussions that they had are now being studied by the decision makers in Iran. But the general sense is that the United States is unable to, or Trump is unable to use an off-ramp. He is not being allowed to use an off-ramp. And the United States, Trump cannot gain through negotiations what he failed to gain during the war. He lost the war. And they can say how they destroyed us. They were saying they destroyed us from day one. And they were saying that we ran out of missiles from day one. But on day during the last 15 days of the war, Iran was striking harder than ever before. So obviously this was all miscalculation, or the United States or Trump himself believed the fake information that Mossad was feeding him in order to launch this war. But whatever it was a major miscalculation. We know that the United States is a brutal regime. We know it's a very brutal regime. We know when they say they will obliterate us, and the media calls for the assassination of negotiators, that the political class in the United States, the Epstein class, it has no moral compass. And that's why it likes to slander Iran and portray Iran as evil in order to legitimize its brutality. But Iran did not lose this war, and it's not going to lose the next war. It will be very painful for everyone. And I think the collapse that is coming will affect the entire world in ways that we cannot comprehend. But Iran has no option but to fight, because for us, for the Iranians, this is a fight for survival. For the axis of resistance, this is a fight for survival. For Trump, either he's compromised or he's heavily influenced, but this is a war of choice. And I think that the last war, the last two wars, and even the last three wars should have been enough to show the people around Trump that this is going to end in disaster for everyone, but the United States as well.
My last question.
But he's compromised, folks, and the reason why he's compromised is just think of the Epstein files. Why would the Epstein files have such a hold on him? Because of his pedophilia and all of that. So you take the combination of everything, and you have the Zios who are playing the game, and the bankers who are playing the game. They want to control everything. And so they've got Netanyahu, who is dedicated to achieving his mission to do one thing, the Greater Israel Project. Jared Kushner's part of it. Gaza, the entire coastline clear through Lebanon and into Syria. There's $400 billion sitting there. And there's a little bird that I had a conversation with about 3 days ago. I hadn't talked to him in a long time, 3.5 years. And he's high up in the food chain on the other side over there. And a quick conversation. And he said, this is the last we're going to be able to talk. I said, fine. Which means he's preparing now for the strike, which is Israel's preparing to move ahead. What are they going to use? Nuclear weapons? Well, they don't have a military that's going to stop these people. So the only option I see is nuclear weapons. But if they use nuclear weapons, they've misunderstood and had done a terrible assessment of the capacity of Iran. Iran now has weapons of mass destruction that are not even close. Israel's not even close to having the capacity of the damage that Iran will inflict in the region. And as the one question was, they're going to knock out all of the facilities of all those neighboring nations, their water systems, their oil, everything. And then there's no water. People are going to flee. You're talking millions of people leaving and an economic collapse. So you have to remember something, folks. Trump is severely compromised. JD Vance wants to be the president. He will make more money. If Trump died in office, JD Vance steps forward. You've got Jared Kushner, JD Vance, and Steve Witkoff, and you've got gangster capitalism looking right at you, folks. It's been going on for a long time, but we got a choice to make here. You can open up your voice, your mouth, pick up the telephone, call your congressional representatives, leave a message, say, if you take us into war, the blood is on your hands and you'll never be voted in again. But you, Congress, has been complicit. Their job is to keep in check if our government was overtaken by a foreign entity. And hello, folks, you already seen it, except you've got a problem. 93 to 97% of you people have been getting paid by AiPAC, so you're compromised. What are we going to do, folks? What are we going to do? Pick up the phone, make the phone call, get active, shut it down. But we don't have much time, but you've got to put the pressure on the system. This is the Conscious Hour. Please like and share, and please donate to the 501c3. I need to build this bandwidth up bigger and get another person in here to help me with all this stuff that has to be produced. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, make the phone call.